Good morning. We're back, and we're ready to learn Japanese with Valen Hark, time traveler, translator, guy on Twitch and YouTube, both in the past and the future. Alright, what are we going to do today? We're going to go over some new vocab. I know you're just raring and ready to go for that new vocab. Love it. And then we're not going to jump into chapter 2 because we're not ready for it. We still got more stuff to go over before then. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have it might end up being a shorter stream today, but we're going to do vocab and then we're going to go over some Wasei Eigo. All right, Japanese style English, loan words. Some words that are funny, some words that will make you think, what the hell are they thinking? Etc. All right, so this might be a little bit more of a relaxed, fun style stream than just like hardcore, like shove the grammar into my nostrils and earlobes. We're not doing that today. Okay, sorry to disappoint. I know you love shoving it in every hole in your body, but that's not what we're doing today. So, here you go. Let's get going. Vocab first thing. Love it. What do we got here? It's written in hiragana. You should be able to read that, right? We got kabang. Well, if I space it out properly, it'd be like this, right? Kabang. Kabang means briefcase or bag, and I have written in parentheses there classy. Well, what the hell does that mean, Valen? Well, we're gonna make use of a lot of Google imagery today, I think, to help us out here. If we search kabang on Google, what are we gonna get here? Let's look at images. Oh, right away, the Pikachu. He's taking a peek at you. We got, well, some briefcase looking stuff. We've also got some regular, classy bags. Come on, these are classy, okay? And that's why I've written it there, because I want you to know that we're not talking about like a plastic shopping bag that you got from, what is that store that's popular in your time? Walmart? If you're over in the US? No. Alright, this is kabang. And look, this is the best way to know. You just look it up in Google Images like I taught you a long time ago. You just go ahead and type that in there. Okay? So you're gonna take this and you're gonna throw it in your rotation by going into your notebook, and next to all the other vocabulary words, you just continue on writing and you throw in there kabang. Okay? And then what would you do next? That's just a little refresher of the rotation. You'd go on to whatever the next word I'm about to teach you is. Okay? And then once I teach you that, you go back and read you all of this stuff again, including kaban and that new word, and that's how you continue on. Okay? We're always throwing in old words as we learn new words. Okay? That's how the rotation works, and that's how I want you to do it, so that you remember things nice. Okay? We got the next one up here. And for the most part, most of the vocab today is very easy, because it's all hiragana and katakana with the exception of one word that uses kanji. But for now, this is tape. Oops. Tape. Right? Remember to hold the tone here. And what is this used as? Well, it says tape, parentheses, cassette, comma, adhesive. So if you say tape in Japanese without any other context, it's not in a sentence or something, well, I suppose if you're in the office, you probably mean like an adhesive piece of tape, like a Scotch tape or something. However, let's say you're not in the office. Let's say you're in literal purgatory. You're just in a white room. There is nothing that lets anybody know what the hell you're talking about. It could possibly, technically, be either one of these things. And for my younger viewers, you might be thinking, what the hell is a cassette tape? Look. Let's type this in English. Cassette tape. You know, back in the day, Valen's been there because he travels all over time. we had these little things, and you'd shove them into a tape player, and they would play audio like magic. Okay? That's what these cassettes were. They got little bands of tape in there that would be read by the tape player to produce sound. Okay? And that's what a cassette tape is if you are just so young and you don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the point is, tape in Japanese could mean either thing. Okay? And so what do we got next? Well, we're moving on with the tape. Tape recorder. Tape recorder. Okay? We're going to throw this in our rotation. And it literally actually just does mean tape recorder. One of the very few Wasei Eigo, or Japanese-style loanwords, stolen from English, that actually just means what it sounds like. Okay? Tape recorder. Whoa, that's a long one. That's very long. That's all it is. Okay, so Google Images. What's a tape recorder? Oh, look at that. More stuff from the past. I wonder when Minna no Nihongo was written. And I wonder how old the people were that wrote it. Because they seem to think that you need to know this. Look, here's the thing. I said it last time. It's not that you're going to use these words all the time, but you throw them in your rotation, you learn them, and then maybe you don't ever use them, or you just hear them once or twice over several years. That's okay. At least at those times when you're reading something, or you hear something, you know what's being said. That's what's important, okay? Tape recorder. Tape recorder. That's it. Boom. Now this one is one you use all the time. Very important. Okay? Terebi. Terebi. Okay? Terebi. Terebi means television or TV. Okay? It's just that simple. Okay? Terebi. TV. You want to know how to say it? And now you do. Throw that into your rotation. And we're throwing a lot of vocab here, but that's because it's really easy. And let me just mention this real quick. Last class we left off at umbrella, right? And we have done kaban, tape recorder, terebi, and we are now doing radio for radio. So we are following the list from the book's vocab. In case you're worried, no, Valen, I'm scared. Are we doing the vocab from Minna no Nihongo? Yes. That marks the end of the show, apparently. Here we go. Radio. 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 Radio is radio, okay? You like it? Good. That's it. Easy, 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 easy. Camera is camera. That's it. Ka me ra. And now you know how to say camera. Could you say cam? Like we would say cam in English? No, don't do this. Don't do that. Not gonna know what you're talking about. Stick with the camera for camera, okay? And look at that. This is one I used as the original example for Wasei Eigo. Computer. Note, this is a tiny little U, right? So what do we do? Because this would normally be P if there was nothing tiny next to it. Be careful here. This turns into Q, right? So we have computer, right? We're holding the tone here. And sometimes people put a little dash above the character that's holding the tone if you're writing it in Romaji. I don't like to do that, but I will start doing that just so you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Boom, computer. And we've just gone over a whole bunch of Wasei Eigo, Japanese-style English loanwords that actually make sense in Japanese. And this is almost the end of it, the ones that make sense. There are so many other words that really just don't fit in with the structure of actual English. And what I mean by that is like their meaning is different, or it's a word that you think you would know in English, but actually when it's used in Japanese, it means something completely different. Like it's just, some of them are pronounced strangely, and we're going to go over a bunch of those today. And possibly next time. We might do several of these in the future too, because there are so many of them, and I just think they're interesting, they're funny, some of them are really dumb, and you need to know them. I would say some of them are even more important than learning actual, like, raw Japanese words, because to a Japanese person, they might think that you understand what they're saying because they think this is English. And that's okay if it's a word like computer, because it holds the same meaning as the word does in English, but there's so many of them that don't. And so that's why I think they're really important to learn, because you will get confused. And the Japanese person speaking to you will get confused too, because they think that you're getting it and you're hearing something completely different based on your native English sense. And anyway, that's it. So we're going to wrap up vocab with a 3-parter kanji word. You thought you were going to get away without one of these? Hell no. What do we got here? Sound it out up top, okay? Ji, right? Ji, dol, sha. And this is possibly one of, I don't know if it's the first, it might be the first time that we have a different kanji that uses the same pronunciation as another kanji that we've already learned. Remember when I told you, like, kenkyusha? You would have a kanji at the end of that looks completely different to this. And I told you that's like the in researcher, right? Because kenkyu would be research. Kenkyusha would be researcher. Now here we have jidosha. This uses, right here, a different kanji, but has the same pronunciation. So this is why, one of the reasons why kanji is so important, because when you have this memorized, you obviously don't need this anywhere, and you know just by looking at this jidosha right away. You don't need to read, let's say we didn't have this, you wouldn't just read the phonetics and then have to think like, wait, what is this? Right, this is one of the reasons why kanji is so important and helps you read and understand faster, okay? So what does jidosha mean? Well, as it says right here, automobile, vehicle, jidosha, okay? So what can you understand by reading the English? Well, what's the casual way to say this in English? Car, right? Car. In most cases, okay? So automobile and vehicle, where would you hear that? Well, you would hear it in official sounding sentences, like, or a police report, something written in the newspaper or said on live news television, a company document that produces the vehicle, like their handbook or something. It might say automobile, or it might say vehicle. So jidosha in Japanese has a similar nuance. It's not car, even though some people mistranslate it as that. It's automobile or vehicle. So how would you say car in Japanese? Well, actually, if you learn jidosha, you are going to learn this kanji right here, and if you pronounce it differently as kuruma, then it will mean car. We're not going over that right now, but just know that by learning this word, you are also learning how to say car. Okay? F Foxes says, Hajimemashite. F Foxes, nice to meet you too, F Foxes. And thank you for following a while ago. I saw you there on the list. So, what do we do when we learn vocab? And you'll see it's over here, camera, computer, and jidosha. Okay? We go over to jisho. and type it in Japanese, not in English. Come on. Jidosha. Jisho, you've done a bad thing. It's not car. Should be like this. Automobile, motor vehicle, sure, that's fine. F. Foxes says, yeah, I found you a long while ago, but this is the first time I've actually caught you live. Well, welcome, F. Foxes. You've been watching from the shadows, and now you are out in the light. And you are welcome in either place, in the shadows or the lights, at all times. Thank you for coming, and make yourself at home. Pull up a chair, grab a desk, pull out your notebook, because it's time. This one, the first kanji here that we're going to pronounce as ji for this word is very easy. Boom, boxes with shelves, okay. Ji. And this one's actually used in a lot of other words, like jibun, which actually means oneself. So I wouldn't read this for this one kanji and think that you know what this one kanji by itself would mean. A lot of the cases, that's not true. But it gives you a sense of what the meaning behind each kanji is when you read this. Okay. Let's see here. So we will come over here and we will start writing. Okay, the first character here, G. Okay, you got little slanted shelves like your pal Valen. That's okay. Nobody cares. It's all right. Don't pressure yourself to make perfectly straight shelves in your box. The next character. In this word, it will be pronounced do. We're using the onyomi, the on pronunciation in this case. Okay, and this looks a little difficult, but it's not that bad. It's a bunch of lines in a box in the middle here, and then this part, which we have learned already. Okay, boom, let's go. Top left to bottom right, following the same pattern as we usually do. There we go. And for these longer ones, as I always say, you can take it slow, you can pause, or you can do this on your own time. You could look at the exploded view here one step at a time to really nail it on in home. That's fine. You do you. And, oh, I want to make one thing very clear here. This stroke, the first two strokes, the first one starts in the top right and goes down to the left. The second one starts on the left and goes to the right. Okay? Now, we've had that pop up in some other kanji before, and I'm just letting you know right now, so you be careful. Top right to bottom left, and then left to right. Okay? Now we're going to do a box right here, and we are going to close it off. We're going to give it a vertical stroke, horizontal stroke, and horizontal stroke, just like that. And then we're going to give it one of these and one of those. Boom. Jidosha. Well, Jido. Which actually, Jido is a word in itself, and it means automatic. A lot of the times you'll see it as Jido teki, which is like turning it into an adjective, a not adjective, so you can actually use it next to something. So, Jido teki na computer. That would be weird in English or Japanese, but just using vocab words we just learned, it would say like automatic computer. Jido teki na computer. Okay. So that is a word in itself that you've just learned. And let's go back here. Scroll down past this obnoxious advertisement. I have to deal with this in Japan too. And it even says right here, Mottomiru. See more. I'm not clicking that, Google. We're going right here to the last kanji for this word. In this case, we are using the onyomi again. Sha. Jido, sha, jidosha. You can see up here in kunyomi, just like I told you before, if you actually wanted to use this by itself to mean car, you could say kuruma. Okay? Let's check it out. Very easy strokes. Boom. Done it. That's it. Just like this, okay? This one first. So, here's I want you to be careful with this, because when we were doing this part, remember we did it like this, and we stopped here, and then did a vertical, and then did the last two horizontal strokes. For this one, you'll notice we're not doing that. We're doing horizontal, the box, horizontal, and then vertical, okay? And that's how we get jidosha. Fox says, jidosha was one of the first kanji words I learned thanks to the auto levels in Mario Maker. Ah, okay, yeah, very true. See, you can use games to learn Japanese. I don't handwrite enough Japanese, so I'll do these along with you and the hiragana. Yeah, that's what it's here for. We got people who are learning these words for the first time, and people who have been following along, mostly on the YouTube, because it's easier to pause and watch. But if you're live here on Twitch, it's especially helpful if you already know some of these, but maybe they're not solidified in your old noggin yet. So you can follow along live while I'm writing them and ask questions. Perfectly fine. F Foxes, you are welcome to do that. Jidosha, okay? Automobile, vehicle. Okay, and that is the kanji word for today. We did a lot of katakana. So, wrapping that up, what do we got? Today we did this whole set for vocab. So, as we approach chapter 2, we've still got a little bit more to go. These ones towards the end are just like phrases that we're not going to spend too much time on, because when we're in the actual chapter, we'll be going over them through practice. So, not too much more to go here until we reach the next chapter for new practice material. But this is the set we've done today. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vocab words. Normally I do like 5 or 6, throw it at you each time, but I think this time it's just so easy because they're all hiragana and katakana. You could easily blast through this. The amount of time I give you, you could easily blast through like probably double this amount, but I just want to keep it consistent and not slow, but steady. Okay, steady is the word I'm looking for. So that marks the end of vocab for today. And what does that mean? It's time to do today's special portion of the show. I don't know. Normally we would do practice right now, but what we're actually going to do, since we're working towards making it to chapter 2, is Wasei Eigo. Okay, Wasei. Let me turn this on. I've written up here in the top left, Wasei Eigo, Japanese style English. And technically, Wasei actually means like Japanese made. Not really so much style, but in this phrase, I think style makes it easier to understand, because if you say Japanese made English, it's just a weird construction in English. So I just want to point that out before somebody gets all up in my business.
Oh, Valen, Wasei does not mean style. Say doesn't mean style, Valen.
I know. Relax. Okay? This is what it means to be a translator. You make things sound good in the target language. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, F Foxes. That is an adorable little fox you got there. So the first word we're going to learn today, and this might change. They're not all English, which just knocks the socks off of Japanese people when I tell them, actually, that's originally taken from Dutch. That's originally taken from Portuguese or Spanish or French. There's a lot of those words too, right? But for the most part in Japan, they end up just calling them all Wasei Eigo. I don't know. Fox says aru baito. Actually, we're gonna learn that one today. Yes, and that is originally taken from German. So we're gonna start out here nice and easy with apato. Okay, apato, and you'll notice here I have thrown the little dash above the A, like this. And I told you I don't like doing that because native English speakers do not all know what the hell these things mean, because we don't use them in English. Okay, I'm telling you right now, just to make things easier. It's telling you to hold the tone, which is what the nobashi bo does, right? So this is pa. So that is what this means, okay? Just in case you're not following, that's why there's a little dash thing above the A. Nobody ever explains this. Why don't you just explain it? Every teacher seems to think that everybody knows what the hell these dashes and this and that. Like, look, if you learn Chinese, you know probably what these mean. Rising and lowering tones and holding tones and stuff. But if you're just coming straight out of English, you don't have any idea what those are. And Fox says, yeah, I didn't know what those were until learning Japanese, yeah. And I tend not to ever write these when I'm actually writing Japanese in Romaji, which is, first of all, rare, but I guess it does happen. I would actually just write it like that. Because even if the native English speaker doesn't end up pronouncing this correctly as apato, and they just say apato, it's still better than them confusing whatever the hell this is and saying it even more strange, okay? So it's up to your preference as a translator. But anyway, what are we trying to say here? So if you have no Japanese knowledge, you look at this Wasei Eigo, and you're thinking, okay, Wasei Eigo, it's written in katakana. I know it's a loan word. What does this mean? Apart? Like, we've been apart for so long, and I just miss you so much. No. And as a matter of fact, F. Foxes has written the correct answer, which is apartment. Okay, that's what it means. Apato means apartment, or flat, depending on your dialect of English. Okay, we're all inclusive here in the Valen Hark channel. If we go ahead and look this up in Japanese. Excuse me, I said in Japanese. Apato. Apartment building, apartment block, apartment house. Okay, no, Jisho, calm down. It just means apartment, okay? Let's bump this number 2 entry to number 1, shall we? Because that's what it should be. Does it mean the whole building filled with apartments? Yeah, you could use it as that too. But in the most cases, it just means like apartment, just like the apartment itself that perhaps you live in. All right. So we're coming to a climax here with the music, but I was about to say we just started off with a very easy one here. And I'm going to slowly ease you into the craziness. So what do we got here? American dog. Okay. American dog. Alright, look. If we go over here to Google Images, and we typed in American dog, we're gonna get something that looks like this, okay? If there's any Japanese people watching too, I know I get followers over on Twitter that end up watching these. 日本人も見てるならまずありがとうございます。アメリカンドッグですね。英語のネイティブだったらちょっとおかしいと思いますね。If we imagine, if us native speakers imagine what an American dog is, we probably come up with something like this, right? Like just such a patriotic dog. Just either that or what kind of dogs we have in the US, right? Yeah. Here's what it actually means in Japanese. American dog. What's this? Well, I think you can figure it out just by looking at the pictures here. F. Foxes says, oh, ha ha ha. F. Foxes has got it because the answer is corndog. Corndog. And why do they call it American dog? I'm not sure, because do Americans eat corn dogs? Sure. Most countries have people that eat corn dogs. Do Americans eat corn dogs more than people in other countries? Marginally, maybe, but I've never understood this because I'm American. I eat a corn dog about as much as I would eat a corn dog, or about as much as a Japanese person eats them, which is to say, like, what? I mean, I don't eat them at all anymore because they're terrible in Japan. They taste like donut, like donuts encasing a hot dog. It's really weird. But yeah, I like once a year during like a festival or something. Like I don't know why they decided it was very American, but they did. F. Foxes says, I don't know when the last time I ate a corn dog was. Yeah, same here. I'm not super into them, but by virtue of being American, I hold the power over the corn dog. American dog is corn dog, okay? Corn dog. なんでコーンが使われてるか。トウモロコシ使ってるからね。トウモロコシって言うと cornmeal. Why is it called corn dog? Because we use cornmeal. And that's the question that I always get asked by Japanese people. Why do you put corn in corn dog? Because when you say corn, the Japanese people would just immediately only think of the corn that looks like this. 今、アメリカンドッグを食べたいです。If Foxes wants to eat an American dog right now, do you? Or do you want to eat a corn dog? Because I tell you, the American dogs in Japan are quite an interesting meal. That's I'll just leave it at that. All right, let's go on to the next one. What do we got here? Biking. Okay, now as a native English speaker, you could confuse this for a bunch of different words, especially when you see the B there. Fox says, please don't say biking. And there's one of, okay, Fox has now got two of them, biking and Viking. So if we said biking, we mean somebody running around on a bike, right? And if we say Viking, we mean this guy. And they're both wrong. And I want to tell this to Japanese people too. Biking って言うとね、英語のネイティブにとっては昔ノルウェーの戦士。An old Norse warrior is what we would imagine when we said Viking in English, right? What does this actually mean in Japanese? It means buffet. You like that? Buffet, as in, like the place that you go to eat all sorts of different food, usually all you can eat. A buffet. Viking. F Foxes just says question mark, question mark, question mark. And F Foxes, you are not alone in the confusion. But why is it like this? There's a few different stories, actually. One of them is that there was I believe it was a hotel in Tokyo that served buffet-style food. And the hotel was called like something the Viking or something like that. And this was a long time ago. And it was like the first place that did a buffet style like food delivery in Japan, because buffets were not really a thing before then. So that's probably the most trusted explanation. Anyway, buffet. All right. Buffet ですよ。バイキングというと昔ノルウェーの戦士しかない。Okay, it's completely different. Foxes says 面白い and is taking notes. You're such a diligent student at Foxes. I love it. What do we got next? What is that doing on this list? Uh-oh. It's everybody's favorite here on Twitch and the internet. Anime. And by the way, it's not anime. It's not Okay, you're going to sound pretentious if you say it correctly in the United States, but if you say it correctly, you're saying it correctly, okay? It's anime, because there is no sound in Japanese. Like we went over the simple pronunciations for all 5 vowels in Japanese. This is always going to be pronounced as Okay? Ni me. Anime. Okay, anime. And why is this on the Wasei Eigo? Some people don't actually realize this, and then when you tell them, they're like, oh, duh. Anime is not originally Japanese. It's taken from English, of course. Some people do know this, some people don't. It is shortened, because I told you, Japanese people like to shorten and remove portions of long words and make them shorter so they're easier to say. Animation. Animation. Anime. Alright. What actually happens if you type this into Jisho? I've never looked it up, obviously, because I haven't needed to. Yeah, animation. Animated film. Animated cartoon. Anime. Thanks, Jisho, for telling me that anime means anime. Very helpful. Thank you for that. I don't know what I expected, but I'm still disappointed. This is it. So this is actually originally taken from English, turned into Japanese, and then, here's the amazing part, brought back into English as anime. So they stole our word, and then we stole their stolen word back into our language, okay? And I can't wait for the day when they steal it back into Japanese and just say, like, I don't know. I don't know where... That's a very stupid joke, Valen. What are you trying to do there? Anyway. Next one. What do we got? One of my favorites. Baby car. Any guesses? Baby car. It is still English. We are still stealing from English here. Baby car? Perhaps? Baby car と言ったら、まずベビーカーという言葉はない。英語でないから、まあネイティブにとって、まあベビーカーと言ったらこれを想像してしまうと思う。ね。つまり赤ちゃんが運転してる車ですよ。Alright, it's what would we imagine in English? A car driven by a baby, perhaps? Right? And they're just, right? Babu. Alright? No. If Foxes says, 知らない. Foxes has no clue, does not know. Well, F Foxes, here you go. And for the rest of you, here you go. Stroller. Or depending on your dialect of English, pram. Okay, is it making sense now? No? That's because it doesn't make sense. It's not a baby car, it's a stroller. If Fox says, so kind of a baby car. Well, that makes sense then. Does it really though? Stroller, okay? Dear Japanese people, this is what you're looking for. Okay? This is, in Japanese, baby car. A car for babies. But it's not a car. It's a stroller. Okay. Get me out of this one. I hate it. Here you go. Foxes, this is the one you were talking about earlier. And you'll see up here, we've changed from Japanese style English to Wasei Doitsugo, Japanese style German. And a lot of Japanese people won't know that this comes from German. They'll just assume that it's English. For some reason, not all Japanese people, I always have to be careful. Not all Japanese people, disclaimer. A lot of Japanese people will just think that, like, any of these words that don't sound Japanese and are written in katakana come from English, is what they will think. And they will think, therefore, that saying this to a native English speaker who doesn't speak Japanese will somehow make them understand, when it just doesn't most of the time. Fox says, I was learning German before Japanese, so when I heard this word, I knew it instantly and loved it. Yeah, if you're learning German or you speak German, you probably could figure it out. Arubaito. Okay. What does it mean? It just means part-time, and I put in parentheses here, job, right? Because it could be used just as the word in English part-time, or it could be used as part-time job. Okay, but in any case, it's referring to a job. Arubaito. Okay, there's nothing funny for me to look up here. It's German. Okay. What do we got? Beater. Ah, you might think you know what this is, because it sounds very close to something in English. But I would be careful. I would be very careful, because it's not. It's not this. It's not beer. What would this be? This would be beer. Hey, Foxes, you got it right. It is. Get rid of this. Building. Fox says, like a tall one, office building. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't call a little building. You could, but I think in most cases, yeah, it would be most natural is like a one of the taller buildings, like an office building. Yeah, exactly. Building. If we typed in, oops, computer. First of all, okay, yeah, it's gonna bring up blue in other languages. Yeah, okay. I don't know what I expected, but anyway, if we typed it in Japanese, boom. Yeah, for the most part, taller like office style buildings. Now, I want to make something a little bit clear here. There is a word in Japanese that means building, and it is tatemono. Okay, and if we type in, tatemono, it looks like this in kanji. What the absolute hell is this? The person writing in Japanese says here, is this real? Anyway, don't get distracted. I'm getting distracted. Tatemono just means building. Just like the word in English, building means like any kind of construction, like habitat or place to work or anything like that. Tatemono is the same thing in Japanese that has like no connotation. It's just like any kind of building. So you'll see here there's wacky buildings, there's office buildings, there's traditional buildings from all sorts of different countries, there's a fish for some reason, a basket, what is that, Hogwarts? I don't know. Anyway, it just any kind of building you would use. Tatemono. This Wasei Eigo also means building, but it's a little bit more like Fox says, a little bit more towards the like corporate sounding, like taller buildings. Okay. What do we got here? Dr. Stop. This sounds like some kind of scuffed superhero or something. Dr. Stop? Uh-oh. Now, you know I want to look this up in English. Dr. Stop. Okay. I guess this makes absolute sense here. Dr. Stop is here to tell you to stop. Alright, what does this actually mean in English? There's no word for it in English. You literally have to explain it. When a doctor tells a patient to stop doing something, and I should have written parentheses probably because that something is bad for their health. That's it. The people of Japan have decided to make a phrase for this. I guess so many people have gone to their doctor and their doctor said, yeah, you gotta stop. You gotta stop touching the microphone, Valen. I've been doctor stopped for touching the mic. Well, it's a good one to know because it does get used. People do say this once in a while. Is it something you hear every day? No, but you will hear it if you live here. And you'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? If you don't know that this is what it means. Doctor, stop. I'm actually curious what would happen if I typed it in Doctor, stop, in Japanese. That's all I imagine when I look at this, but I don't know why this is here. He's been told by his doctor to stop. Stop being in pain. It's the best medicine when a doctor tells you to just stop. Next up. Dom mai. Dom mai. Oh my. Well, if you don't know Japanese, this one's very hard to figure out even in English because it's just like Dom mai. Dom mai. It's Don Mai, and he's coming for you. He's gonna break your legs if you don't give him your yen. Okay? Alright, our best guess in English, Don Mai. Is that him? Is that the Don? No, it's not. You know why? Because it doesn't mean Don Mai. What does it mean? It means... Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, huh? Come on. When something bad happens and somebody else says to you, "Dom mai," they're trying their hardest to say something in English for some reason. They're literally saying, "Don't mind." Which is weird. I have to explain this to Japanese people too, because when you say "don't mind," well, first of all, to a native English speaker, it sounds like you're missing the I, or he, or she, or you, or something like, I don't mind. And it's even weirder because if you say I don't mind in English, you're saying that to somebody else. Like if they did something wrong. But domai is something that gets said to you to help console you if you did something wrong. So somebody else is saying, don't mind. It's very weird. これもやめてほしいけどね。Don't mind. ドンマイといえば、まず、ちょっと、まあ、文法的には、全く違う。don't mind といえば、なんか命令形で、気にしないでって言いたいけど、伝わらないというか、I don't mind しかないからね。私は気にしないということで。I hate hearing this in Japanese. It infuriates me. I get irrationally infuriated by Wasei Eigo all the time. If Fox says, 気にしないで, yeah, don't worry about it. That's actually what should be said in Japanese. 気にしないで. Literally means like, don't worry about it. Or it's like the command form of like, don't care, right? 気にする, 気にしない, right? 気にしない, if you just say 気にしない, it's just like, I don't care. So that is that. And what do we got? Oh, this is the one I hate the most. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it so much. Because it's so overused in Japan. And it's so wrong in English. Even at Fox is like, fight? Question mark? Yeah. Faito. Okay. A lot of people, because they read manga or watch anime, start to get the hang of what this means, but people are still confused by it, right? What does it actually mean? It means good luck, do your best, go for it, etc. It's like an exclamation that you would say to somebody. Like, so you might hear this during a sports match. Good old match of sports ball. Faito! Faito! Right? So, to a Japanese person, they don't think of it like screaming at two people to be like, fight, fight, fight. Like high school, the movies of high school children in the United States, when a bully starts picking on somebody, the nerdy kid, and the nerdy kid's just had enough and he's ready to pound him back. And then a big circle comes around them and they start to fight, fight, fight. That's not what it means. It's not what it means in Japanese. But I have to explain to Japanese people too, because they don't get it. They say this to native English speakers all the time. If you have a face like mine and you live in Japan and you're doing anything that needs some kind of cheering on, whether it's sports or whatever, you will hear this and they will think that they're being very clever saying something in English, and they are not. Good luck, do your best. Go for it. Right? Faito. Faito はまるで喧嘩しろ、あるいは戦えね。ボクシング試合だったらおかしくないかもしれないけど、それ以外は違うね。英語で fight って言えば戦えね、命令形しかない。だからやめてください。変だよ。和製英語やめてくれない？マジで。Don't use this. All right. If you want to say it correctly in Japanese, just be like "gambare" or "gambatte." Right? The actual thing you should say. Right there, right on cue at Fox, it says "gambatte ne." That is exactly what you should say in Japanese. All right. What do we got? We're almost ready to wrap it up. We got a few more here that I want to fit into today's episode, though. Hayi tachi. Well, first of all, you look at this and you might be like, what is that? Is that my favorite brand of electronics? Hitachi? No, that would be Hitachi. This is Haitachi. And you'll see it's got two C's. That's because we've got the little tsu there, right? That's not the important thing about this, though. What does this mean? High touch. It's the closest thing we could imagine in English, right? High touch. Oh, I hope we have safe search on. Okay. What are we doing here? Oh, a little hint there of what it actually is. High touch technologies. Okay, look, it doesn't know what's going on in English. Google has no idea. This is leaked in from Japanese. Oh, it's a high five then, says F. Foxes. Yes, it is. You've got it. Boom. High five. Touch, okay. They seem to have mistaken the word touch here. And here's, you know what really drives me crazy is if you have something that already exists in English and you're a Japanese person and you've decided to steal English and turn it into Japanese, why wouldn't you just use the phrase that already exists? You know what they've done here is they've created a new phrase using different English that they have imported into Japanese because they think touch, touching, right? Hi, touch, high five, right? And I have to explain to people in Japanese, no, it's high five. Why? Because you have 5 fingers, hopefully. Well, I shouldn't say hopefully. I have to be very careful. If you don't have 5 fingers, if you have 4 or less or 6 or more, you too are welcome here in Valen Arc Stream. I do not discriminate. But look, that's what it is. It's high five. High touch って言ったらね、なんか高いところを触る。ネジ切ったらね、って思って、とにかくハイファイブ。なんで5っていう言葉が使われてるか、指の数、1、2、3、4、5。触る。触るって言ったらなんか変だなと私は感じる。ハイファイブ、OK? Boom. ヘルスメーター。Can you even figure out what English words we got going here? I'll tell you, it's health meter. Oh, I can't wait. Health meter. This is perfect. This is exactly the way I explain why this is weird in English. And Fox says, these words are so weird. Yeah. And there are hundreds of them, possibly thousands of them. And I'm going to keep introducing them. I'm going to sprinkle them throughout our grammar and stuff so we can have some fun sometimes. Okay? That's what today's episode is all about. If you hear the words health meter in English, well, we have no phrase in English that is health meter. So what do? We use our brains to imagine, what the hell is this person trying to say? Engage, imagining, and then you have health meter come up. This is what I imagine when I hear the words health meter. How's my health today? Let me check my meter. Excellent. Thanks, Colgate. Or whoever. All right, look. Here's what it means. Scale. And I put in parentheses bathroom scale because it doesn't mean like the scale like at a butcher shop that you like weigh the meat on or whatever. It's the scale that you stand on to see how much you weigh. And so we could talk for probably an hour about the psychology here behind why they have called it health meter. Is that because Japanese people associate weight with health far more than like other cultures might do it? I don't know. But that's what it is. That's what it means. Okay. ヘルスメーターといえば、さっきの写真ね、これ、なんか、メーターって言うと何かを測るもの。ヘルスって、まあ、健康を測るものって言えば、まず曖昧すぎる。なんか、健康を測るやつって、どうやって健康を測ってるか。まあ、とにかくこのようなイメージになる。Alright, that's what it means. It means bathroom scale. Can we fit a few more words in here before we gotta wrap up? Yes, we can. And I really wanted to show you this one. Hip. What does hip mean? Okay, right away, we got hip. Please don't screw me here, Google Images. Okay, thank God. F Fox is probably not hip. Gee, F Foxes, I think you've caught on. Well, in English, hip means hip. Who would have guessed it? I gotta be really careful. I should do this off screen first. Hold on. There we go. It means butt or buttocks. Japan, why? Why? You could have just said butto. Why didn't you just take the word that already exists? Why did you take a word that doesn't mean butt, that means hip, and bastardize it? Why? This one enrages me too, just like Fight does. If Fox says oshiri, yeah, oshiri is probably the better way to say this in actual Japanese. There's also ketsu, which is like a little bit like, more like ass. Yeah, butt and buttocks. Hip って腰だよ。お尻じゃない、ヒップはね。バット。 buttocks. Behind, I guess you could say behind too. Behind, buttocks. どっちでもいいけど、そっちの方がお尻という意味ですよ。Okay? Whoa, jet coaster. Jet coaster, uh-oh. That sounds insane. And you'll see here that these are, look, sanseitechnologies.com. Where is it pulling these from? Japan. Because what does this mean? Roller coaster. Here's the thing, if you say jet coaster, what do I imagine? I imagine some kind of like rocket strapped to a roller coaster that is going to send you to the moon. You hear that, Dogecoin? All you need is a jet coaster to go to the moon. You don't need stunks. You need a jet coaster. Okay, because that's what it makes me imagine. If Foxy says, naruhodo. Gotcha. And let's wrap it up for today with a word that we can all get behind. Karaoke. First things first. I'm not going to yell at the Japanese people for this one, although it is kind of weird. I'm going to yell at the native English speakers. It's not karaoke. What about the letter A says to you that you should pronounce this E? Because even following English rules, you shouldn't pronounce it that way. If Fox says, this word drives my Japanese teacher crazy when English speakers say it wrong. Yeah, it drives me crazy too because I'm a Japanese speaker. It's karaoke. And why? Because I'm going to tell you right now. You know what? Let's just... Computer, bring up the answer. What does it mean, karaoke? Yeah, duh. But it's taking two things. It's actually a mix between a real Japanese word and a Japanese-style English loan word. Kara means empty. And if you've been watching past episodes, I explained that karate means empty hand. Karate. Empty hand, no weapons. Fighting using your body, right? If Fox says, oh, I didn't know what it meant. Yeah, well, here it is. Empty orchestra. Why? Because you're doing the song by yourself. You're singing it. You've got no accompaniment. You're doing karaoke, empty orchestra. Kara means empty in Japanese, and it's not pronounced carry. As a matter of fact, nothing in Japanese is pronounced carry, because there is no eh. Okay, there is b. There's no carry. Okay? Oke has been shortened, bastardized orchestra. 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 Alright, karaoke. And that is your final Wasei Eigo for today. Did you enjoy that? Did you have a good time at Fox's? You've been a very good fox today. The rest of you, you've also been very good. I love you all. If Fox says, Hai, kyou wa tanoshikatta desu. Yes, today was fun. And F Foxes, for saying that, love you even more. I'd like to tell y'all, thank you very much for stopping by Valen Hark's Learn Japanese. I have been Valen Hark, and I will continue to be Valen Hark, this time and next time. If Fox says, Oshiete kudasatte arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you for teaching us, or teaching me, depending on how you want to translate it. You're welcome. Okay. And I would probably say, yeah. No. The pleasure is mine. There's something about this song, this track makes me really get very sensual or something. I don't know. Look. These are fun for me too. I like explaining these to Japanese people and non-Japanese people alike, both. Okay, what are we going to do next time? We're going to continue on with some more fun stuff with this, I think, because we still have more vocab to go over before chapter 2. So I think that's what we're going to do before chapter 2. Okay, you like that? So until then, please keep up with your rotations. If you are studying and following along diligently with this course, you should be maintaining a rotation like I've taught you a long time ago. And in that rotation, you should throw today's vocabulary. And you should practice it at least once a day, at least 10, 15, 20 minutes. If you really want to be cool about it, 30 plus minutes. You don't really need to go more than an hour, I would say. I wouldn't do more than an hour for sure, because then it's just going to be annoying. You don't need to memorize or throw into rotation the Wasei Eigo I've shown you today. This is for fun. If you do want to throw it in there, be my guest. That's up to you. But other than that, look, I got to skedaddle. I am way over time here. I got somewhere I got to be. All right, in the timeline. Somebody needs saving in the timeline, and I got to be there now, okay? I got to get going. So once again, thank you all for joining me today. Appreciate it. F Foxes says, Mata ne. And F Foxes, Mata ne. Right back at you. I'll see ya. All right, I'll see you next time. So take care.